everyone, my name is Clynis and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you and explain to you how I made this altered wall art. It is in the monochromatic gray scale or theme, and it was inspired by my Remy Small Art when I watched her tutorial on how she made her version of the monochromatic art. So this will be a long video because I'm talking through as I'm working on this artwork, and if you'd like to see me doing this project, then grab something to eat and drink and let's get started. So today we are going to do an altered art with this wall decor that I had for such a long time. I was so inspired by the monochromatic mixed media art by Remy Small Art, and yeah, I've been following her for quite some time now and I love her art. Anyway, so with this mixed media art, I am going to use my leftover embellishments. So link them down below because sometimes I make myself some embellishments when I have projects and then I don't use all of them, so this is a great thing to do when you have so many leftovers. Anyway, that's that. And then for the color palettes, I will be using around the gray ones. So yeah, we'll try and see if this will work, and if not, then we will combine some colors yet. So that's that. And for my main inspiration for the color palettes will be this one. As you can notice, there are warmer tones of like brownish, and then the gray, it's more on the warmer side of the tone, so this will be great. Maybe we can do some browns. I'm not sure yet. I got this from the Amber Moon collection of Primo Marketing, and yeah, so in this part right here. What else? I think I will be getting some paper from this one, Forever in Time. It's a paper craft. I think I bought this from the dollar store if I'm not mistaken, but I wanted to have these dragonflies, but as I said, we will see. It's not really concrete yet, but the paste that I'm using today are these Stone Effect paste from Bear. So yeah, we shall see. I love these pastes. And then the stencil from also Bear. Everything will be linked down below, or if not, I will direct you to my blog because I can fit all kinds of letters in there and I'm not limited to my content. Anyway, so let's get started. Okay, so first order of business, we are going to prime our canvas, obviously, with a white gesso, and there's nothing really technical about this. You paint the canvas so you have a blank slate or blank canvas to work on. So yes. Okay, so once the first coat of gesso is dry, I'm going to do a second coat, and the same thing. I will dry it with a hair dryer afterwards. Okay, now that the two coats of gesso are dry, I'm going to move on to my first layer. Now with mixed media, you would like to have layers of, where the first layer will be like your base background, then your secondary if you want, and then you can go to establishing your focal point wherever you want it in your canvas. Now for this one, this is quite a long canvas, so you can choose if you want the canvas to be looking like standing up or like sideways, kind of, for your focal point. You can do whatever you want. So for me, I like to build up my layers, and how I do it. Recently, I have been establishing my background first, like my base background, whatever that is. And then my secondary layer is like whatever else I want to add on to that base background. Now, and then after I'm satisfied with how everything looks, I will go focus on starting or building my focal point, and that also involves a few layers. It's really up to you on how long you want to spend on finishing or doing your project, and how much materials you have, because sometimes you only have a few, you can only work with a few materials. But for me, since I'm working on a leftover stash here, I think I'll be able to incorporate most of them. That's what I'm hoping, but we will see. So I think I will start sticking this on. I might want to be precise on this cardstock, so I'm going to pre-measure it and cut it, and then stick it onto the canvas with, I have a tacky glue here with a tacky glue, or since I might be working with heavier embellishments, I might use the E6000 glue. So yeah, because I've had instances before where I used like an ordinary glue, and then I use the paper and stick it onto the canvas, and then while I was working on heavier embellishments that were sticking on top of the cardstock started peeling off. So yeah, I think for this part the edges will be or the middle part will have some of the E6000 glue. Anyway, so I'll fast forward everything. I've explained what I'm going to do, and you might see me flipping this around depending on how I want the visuals to look like. So yeah, here goes. Alright, so I'm done sticking all of my cardstocks on the canvas. I'm just going to show you how it looks like. So, well, what I did is I just used all of the cardstocks that I have. I didn't want to have any more leftovers, and that is what you're seeing here. So for the next part is I will be using, now this is a second layer now, so I will be using a stencil from Bear and the, I'm not sure which paste. Let's use the pumice this time and see how it goes. All right. So when you're applying a paste on a stencil, just make sure that you don't lift the stencil as you're applying the paste on your canvas. So whenever you use a paste, doesn't matter which one, what I do is I just carefully apply the stencil without lifting my palette knife too much, especially with paste with added texture on them. They might be a little bit tricky to work on, so you just have to basically practice, and you'll get a mess here and there, but you know, nobody will notice, right? Anyway, I'll just fast forward through this stenciling, and I will dry the paste and then move on to the next phase. So now that the paste is dry, I'm going to start painting, not with a white gesso, but with this vanilla colored acrylic paint. So I have no precise, there's no precision on where the paint will go. It's just wherever, but most part it will be applied on top of the stencil. I just like to do this, but if you wanted a different color, then yeah, go for it. So with this one, with the acrylic paint, I usually use water. This is an empty setting spray, makeup setting spray, and I just filled it with water, and it's actually a good mister. It has a good mist for the most part. I just like using water all the time with acrylics because it thins out the acrylic and the acrylic paint and makes it easier to go for the paint to go into the creases of the stencil work that you've done. So I've chosen the vanilla one because I don't really want a stark white paint job. I just want like a little bit of a warmer tone, so that's why we're doing this part. All right. Just going to try and cancel out all the greens as much as possible. All the green dragonflies. You guys might be wondering, what's the point again? Why did she put the cardstock and then cover it up? Well, that is how you build layers. When you're painting, you're just basically making all of your layers mesh into this one concept. That makes sense. So there's always one color that ties every layer, and that is why we are painting right now. And then afterwards, I just use a piece of cloth or paper towel to absorb excess paint and water. Or if there are certain areas that I don't want the color to saturate, then that's how it is. Sorry if you can hear our cat. She's upstairs. Not sure what she's up to, but that's how she is. All right. Now I just have to dry the paint and then move on to the next phase. Before that, I'm just going to show you the close-up or how it looks like. So everything is turning out pretty good. Okay, so now the first paint is dry. I will move on to painting with this, or maybe we'll try this one. It's the Martha Stewart. I've had this for like more than 5 years. This color, I haven't used this color in one of my projects yet, so that's why I'm excited to do this monochrome-ish mixed media canvas. So you will see how she looks like. I know that it's quite scary that I don't use any palettes or whatsoever, but I'm used to it, and I do have a palette for my acrylic paints, but I'm just too lazy to use it right now. So this is why I just basically just put it on the canvas directly. All right. Yeah, this is giving me a lot of little really fine glitters, so that's actually good to have. Oh, sorry about the noise. Now, again, absorbing excess water and paint that I don't like. When you're using water, like I do use a lot of water over cardstocks. Just be careful and not to oversaturate the cardstock. So, and dry it. You have to dry it quickly too. So that's what I'm going to do, and move on to the next phase. Okay, so for the next part, I am going to play around with building my focal point. At this point, I'm not sure what to do yet, so we'll just start composing. Guess we could start there, or not really. I guess we can work with that, but first of all, going to do what I like doing with little frames. I'm going to use something. Use something to put in as a background. Let's go for the gray ones. Okay, so if I'll find my scissors somewhere. Going to cut this. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick this onto the resin and then move on to starting my focal point. Okay, so once that's on, I think let's see this, if this would work. See, I'm liking this already right here. Now it's a matter of puzzle making or solving the puzzle that is a focal point. What else do we have here? I like this part already, but I think it should be a little bit elevated first or something. Like that. And it's like this. It has to be supported by something else, so okay. So that should do it right there. Maybe not. Nope. Too bulky. Okay, so I guess that'll be a great start. And then I'll fast forward the rest. So as you can see, when I'm building my focal point, it's like doing or solving a puzzle. Just have to figure out what looks great together and go about there. Okay, so I think I am done building up my focal point. Now I'm just going to put this apart and hopefully I'll be remembering it. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to take a picture with my iPad here. Let's see. Okay, that's good. So with this focal point, I am actually satisfied with how it looks like. You can add more to it, but this is where I want to stop. and there will be more embellishments coming up, so I'm planning to use this what is this called again? It's like a broken glass kind of thing. I bought it from IKEA for a long time ago, and yes, so this is one of the embellishments that I wanted to use, and wanted to use one of these crystal acrylic gems maybe, and the clear ones. So yeah, okay, so I'm going to take this apart and start gluing everything in, and we'll be back for the next one. Actually, I might, yes, I will stamp. I will show you how I will stamp everything. So that's what I forgot to do. I forgot to do that part, so we are going to do it. So with the archival ink, and do I really want to stamp it? Maybe not. We'll skip this part. We'll just move straight on to the embellishments. I'll just glue everything on, and yeah, move from there. Okay, so here it is. Everything is sticking on and still drying. The glue is still drying. And one thing I would like to do is, I'll probably use this concrete. Stone Effect Paste Concrete. We will do some edging and add more texture, basically. So, why am I doing this? I'll do this as edging to wherever I see that it needs some connection with the canvas. So yeah. Ooh. Oh my gosh, everything is moving. Okay. Okay, so just going to fill in the gap between the canvas and the embellishment, sort of. It's like a seal. So that's what we're going to work on right now. I should have thought about this before I've gone through all of the embellishing part, but it's a good thing that I remember too. This is like a new, kind of like a new routine to my mixed media composition, so it's like I'm still trying to get used to this part. You can skip this part if you don't have the stone face, or in general if you don't want to do it, but I just like to do it. And more texture means more complicatedness, or it looks more complicated. Anyway, I'll just fast forward and I will dry this stone paste before moving on to the rest of the project. Okay, so the paste is still not dry yet, but I just want to show you guys what I did while I was trying to dry off the paste. I have stick those decorative fillers into the paste, and I've stick 3 of them. So here is one over here, there's one right there. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. I might do it with, okay, where is it? Okay, those ones. Or there's one more that I want, which is this one. Let's see if I can use those things. It's actually giving me a great texture underneath here, so let's see if this will stick as well, like that. And this one, no. No. We'll just do one, and then after everything is dry and the rest of the embellishments are on, we'll see how it looks like. So I'm back. I'll be back until for the next part once this stone paste is dry. Okay, and one more thing, I just thought about something else. I'm going to use this gloss gel medium, and I'm planning to put this around these little I don't know what you call them, pebbles. It's not pebbles, what am I talking about? But yes, I'm just going to put this around these, and then I will be I'll be using these broken glasses right here. Okay, so I think I'm just going to use my hand. Just be careful. I hope it sticks. This is quite messy. A messy process. Okay. That paste, actually this is from Liquid Text. I bought it from Michael's. It's a super gloss heavy gel. It actually dries slowly, so that means you can move your embellishments around if you're using that gel medium. Alright, so I think I'm out of ideas. Now it's time to dry the paste and see how everything looks like afterwards. Alright, now the paste is not dry yet, but I thought about adding a lace right here. I'm just going to add a lace. And just stick it in. push this in there. Have to re-glue this part now. It's moving. Yeah, see, the paste actually dries very slow, so most of the time I'll just do something else around the house and leave this drying and then go to the next part. We're almost there. We're almost done, I think, but we will see how it goes. Alright, you guys, I'm just going to bring you the close-up look of everything. I think they look beautiful. Yeah. Now it's time to prime, especially those parts where the stone effect paste is. I'm actually liking the color already of the entire canvas. I could just leave it like this and call it a day, but we are going to do some more painting and we'll see how the overall look is. Okie dokie, now I think we're going for the painting part with the gray acrylic paste, paint, and this time I'm going to use my little palette here. Maybe some white. And that's about it. Since it's supposed to be a monochromatic color, so we are just going to see how everything will look like with a monochromatic color. I've never actually done this yet, so I'm hoping that it will turn out pretty good. So we shall see. More water. I need more gray. Yeah. I think this is quite a more challenging color scheme to work with, because you have to basically rely on two colors in order for you to have your textures lifted and stuff. So yeah, it's a different way of doing mixed media for sure. What do you think, guys? I think that when it comes to monochromatic theme on mixed media art, you just have to bear in mind that you have to practice more. I find that I have to practice a little bit more. I probably needed some darker gray color at this point. I'm just going to dry the acrylics and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, so I think I'm going to do some black combination here with the gray. Make some darker shadows for our canvas. We'll just do some tilting process here. Blend all the colors together. It's a little bit tricky when you work on black, I would say, as one of your colors, but you have complete control of what you're doing, so as long as you know and control the amount of color that you're using, you should be okay. Now I'm going to use a paper towel to absorb the rest of the paint. Okay, now what else? There is metallic acrylic paint. Let's see what this will do. Well, this is, I think it's alright. It's not shiny enough for me, I think. Okay, it's a little bit trickier than I thought, so I'm just going to play around with my blending abilities and go from there. Okay, so now it looks like an absolute disaster. Well, that's always a phase in mixed media art, but one thing happened while I was removing this one broke off, so I'm trying to glue this back together anyway. I think I'm just going to use another metallic paint, the same metallic gray paint and the white paint. I'm just going to carefully buff this onto everything else so that it brings out the texture of the canvas. So there are no precise points on where you could paint the metallics. I just like to, with the shiny parts or with the shiny acrylic paints. I like to use them mostly where there are more details on it. So I think that brings out the details better. Okay, so embellishments. Oh gosh, that's so wet. Yeah, I think. How can I do that? Standing like that. Yes, I can't. Right there. Where can I put them around? Like this. Oh yeah. Where's my glue? I'm making a mess here. Making a mess. Okay, I need Lysol wipes in order to get those off. Alright. Now with embellishing, it's the same thing. You can do as much as you want depending on the look that you're going for. Let's see here. I just need this. Glass around these little things. Still don't know what to call them. I've used this technique before where I've used the glass beads on my get well soon card, and I have a tutorial on that. And I would say with my very first few videos, like the quality and where I put my cell phone at is not really on the good spot. Plus I didn't have my my tripod that time yet, so it's like I'm just using a selfie stick and just taping it on a taller vase that I have at home, and that's what I use for my tripod. And now that my husband bought me this tripod at Princess Auto for like, I think it was only like $20. I was so happy, and I didn't have to fool around as much, and it didn't take me longer to set up, because those earlier times of my, well, I call it earlier times, but my channel is still young. But anyway, in those times I was just figuring out how to set up everything, and then sometimes I didn't want to do it anymore because it's so frustrating to do. But well, like my husband said, you're an adult, figure things out, don't throw a temper tantrum. So what he's trying to say, which is funny. You learn everything new in your life, you learn, then you improve. Just like this one, I'm having a hard time sticking on these glass shards onto the canvas, and hopefully they do stick, because that would be not good if it doesn't stick. Anyway, all right. Okay, you see silly things, get on there. Once this project is done, I'm going to actually submit a picture of this on the Michael's website. This is not sponsored, by the way. I just wanted to enter a contest that they have, and I think the price is, I forgot what the price was like a Cricut machine. That's if my memory serves me right, a Cricut machine. So deadline is tomorrow, so I'm hoping to finish this today, which I will. No worries about that. And hopefully I win this thing. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but it would be nice, you know, just for other people to see my artwork. Okie dokie. I guess I'm done. I'm just going to dry everything else, and then there might be a few more embellishments, and then I'm done. Okay, so for the last part, I will be using the Gloss Heavy Gel Medium again, and basically just finish everything with it so it has a shiny finish. I'm almost running out of this, see? So this dries transparent, so don't worry about my mess over here. I'm just putting it all on top. And yeah, I will just fast forward this part, and then I'll see you on the final look. Alright, you guys, that is it. I'm just going to show you the finished product. Once everything is dry, I think I'm going to paint the back side part of this area. And yeah, I just did the finishing touches and just splashed everything with a brush and the acrylic gray paints, and then just did some splash of colors, and plus this one I just stick this on, and the decorative filler, it's called, the bigger one, and then I just put those glass shards around it. I don't know, well, this is what you call when you go overboard, but whatever. I just like how everything looks, and yes. Alrighty guys, that is it. If you made it through the end of this video, then congratulations, you're a trooper. And if you guys like to see more of my videos, I upload every Tuesday. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and also turn on that bell notification so you don't miss any videos. Yes, so if you like to follow me on Instagram as well, that's where I am more active, and you will see a glimpse. I hope this video helped you in your mixed media art journey, or if you're just curious on how mixed media artists do their own artwork. Everyone is quite different in their own techniques. I'm still learning a lot from different mixed media artists out there, just like Marami Small Art. And yes, I will see you in the next video. Bye!